Hi everyone, my name is Jarvis and I'm in the first year of the School of Informatics and IT. I was previously from Temasek Secondary School and joined the School of Informatics and IT to take up the Diploma in Information Technology. Though the COVID situation has led to limited opportunities to explore campus life, I must say I have been enjoying my course as I find it exciting to learn how to create my very own applications and websites. I will be your host for today and will share more about my experiences with you later. To begin today's sharing, let me first show you a video about TP. Enjoy!
What's your vision of your tomorrow? Is it to be the best version of you? Maybe your desire is to inspire, to help the next generation and be their heroes? Tomorrow, at times, you may fall. You may experience pain. And you may come face to face with failure. But when you do, we'll be there to help you get up. Keep you moving forward and not look back. We're here to help you achieve your dreams. To work hand in hand together. To improve our community and surroundings for the better. Let's come up with tomorrow's radical ideas and implement tomorrow's cool solutions that'll put smiles on everyone's faces. So, do you have that burning desire to stay on top, keep abreast of new trends, and pick up new skills? To become tomorrow's leader, tomorrow's shaker, tomorrow's mover? Are these your aspirations? This is what we do at Temasek Polytechnic. Here, we are creating tomorrow, today.
I hope that video gave you a little insight into TP and all it has to offer. Next, our principal, Mr. Peter Lam, will share with us a few words.
Hello students and parents. Thank you very much for joining us at Temasek Polytechnic's Open House webinar. You will be hearing about the options and opportunities available at TP and learn more about the admissions exercise that is coming up. I hope you will find the session useful. This coming week is an important one for you students as you decide on what to do next after your O-levels or after ITE. There are many good options available, whether you choose to go to a junior college or pick one of the courses that are offered by the 5 polytechnics. My advice to you is to choose a course of study that will best suit your interest, aptitude, and style of learning. If you decide to come to TP, please be assured that you will be in good hands for the next 3 years. We are committed to do our best to prepare our students for a world where industries are always evolving and where technology is constantly disrupting the way we live, study, and work. Beyond industry-specific knowledge and skills, TP also equips our students with skills that will make them strong leaders, innovative thinkers, and agile, lifelong learners. We also develop our students to become responsible global citizens who can make meaningful contributions wherever they may go. So as educators, we are committed to nurturing your talents and abilities and empower you with the right skills so that you can achieve your dreams and create your own tomorrows, whatever that vision or aspiration may be. So I encourage you to explore our courses, our curricula, and our campus lifestyle. Today's webinar will give you a good opportunity for that. You can also continue to explore our open house website after this and listen to the sharing sessions by our lecturers, students, and even alumni so that you can get a very good idea of what the TP experience could also mean for you. From 13th of January onwards, we will also be providing more one-on-one online consultations as well as course preview talks. Please go to our website at tp.edu.sg for more information and updates. And I wish you all the best for your O-level results, and I certainly hope to see you in Temasek Polytechnic. Please enjoy the rest of the webinar.
Hi there, everyone. For those who only just joined us, my name is Jarvis, and I'm in the first year of the School of Informatics and IT. I'm very happy to be a host today. We have just watched a video about TP and listened to a welcome address by TP's principal, Mr. Peter Lam. The program for today's webinar is as follows. We will have a sharing by students about their TP experience. Then, this will be followed by an information session by our Deputy Director, Dr. Nalaka, on admission matters, as well as an overview of the School of Informatics and IT. Following that, there will be an opportunity for you to ask us any questions you might have. So, let's get rolling with a sharing by Dr. Nalaka on admission matters.
Thank you, Jarvis. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Nalaka. I am the Deputy Director here at the School of Informatics and IT, and I oversee areas such as academic operations, curriculum, and student development. Today, I'll take you through an overview of Temasek Polytechnic and the different admissions exercises. At TP, we have 6 academic schools: the School of Applied Science, the School of Business, the School of Design, the School of Engineering, the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, and the School of Informatics and IT. Across these 6 schools, we have 36 diploma courses, as well as 3 common entry programs. And I'll talk a little bit about the common entry programs a little later. In TP, we are focused on skills future-oriented kind of training, plus a balance of domain and life skills. Every student who graduates from TP will be a future-oriented creator, a values-centered leader, and a lifelong learner. As part of our diploma academic structure here at Temasek Polytechnic, there are 3 distinct areas. We have our diploma core subjects, then we have our diploma electives, and underlying that, we have our TP fundamentals, which focuses on the holistic development of every TP student. On this screen, you'll see some of the modules that constitute TP fundamentals, and these include areas such as innovation, critical thinking, communication, leadership, entrepreneurship, etc. Our education philosophy at TP focuses on a variety of things. Quite importantly, we focus on applied learning, which is really hands-on work, technology-enabled learning, especially in these days, and strong industry partnerships. Coupled with that, we have global exposure, where students are exposed to working in the region. And of course, TP is well known for its culture of caring. At Temasek Polytechnic, there is a wide range of facilities available for all students, depending on the different courses they join. On this screen, you see a variety of them, everything from aquaculture to advanced manufacturing. At the School of Informatics and IT, we have our own facilities as well. Here we have the Malware Analysis Center, which was newly launched and set up in collaboration with ST Engineering, Palo Alto Networks, and CrowdStrike. We also have the Cyber Range, which is set up in collaboration with the Ministry of Home Affairs. We have our Technology Experience Center, set up in collaboration with IBM and focusing on the cloud. And of course, we have our AI Application Center, where you can see how AI is used to contribute to society. So let's talk a little bit about our common entry programs that I mentioned earlier. At Temasek Polytechnic, there are 3 common entry programs in the School of Business, the School of Engineering, and the School of IT. These common entry programs are really available for students who need a little bit more time to decide on their specific course that they want to take. As I mentioned earlier, the common entry programs really give prospective students more time to decide on the choice of their diploma course after they enter TP. During the common entry program, students get the opportunity to acquire a strong foundation in a broader field of study, whether it's business, whether it's engineering, whether it's IT. At the same time, you also learn about the different career opportunities available. Okay, in terms of job roles, industry outlook, what kind of how the work environment would look like in those different areas. In summation, the common entry program is really about giving students a more informed decision on the choice of course that they want. And it is quite aligned to their capabilities, their aptitude, their interests. With the Common Entry program, we have a dual track approach here at Temasek Polytechnic. For students who are not sure but need a bit more time, we strongly encourage the Common Entry programs, whether it's in common business, engineering, or IT. For students who are very sure of the courses, they already know what they want, we recommend the direct year one entry. Okay, it's quite important to note that the modules or the subjects taken in the Common Entry program and the direct year one entry program are the same in the different schools, whether it's a School of Business, School of Engineering, School of IT. Now let me take you through the different admissions exercises. For O-level holders, there's the Joint Admissions Exercise, or the JAE. Basically, it is held from the 12th to the 17th of January. You have one application and you can fill up to 12 choices. And at the end, you get one offer. And those 12 choices can be across the different institutions, as I mentioned on this screen. To help you with your 12 choices, TP is running webinars on the 13th of January. And I strongly encourage, if you're not sure how to list down your 12 choices, please do attend the webinars so you can get a better understanding and better way to optimize your choices and eventually the course that you want to get into. The Poly Foundation program is for eligible NA level holders. Again, it is available for all 36 diploma courses and 3 common entry programs. Okay, and the Poly Foundation program is a year-long program. It consists of domain cluster subjects as well as PFP core subjects, which are listed here on this screen. The Poly Foundation program admissions exercise happens at the same time as the JAE from 12th to the 17th of January. Here you have one application, but up to 5 choices only. And again, you get one offer. The last admissions exercise is the Joint Polytechnic Admissions Exercise, or the JPAE. It's for ITE, NITEC, and higher NITEC holders. This is held in February, from the 21st to the 25th of February. One application, up to 8 choices, and you get one offer. So those are a summary of the different admissions exercises available for prospective students and parents this year. With that, it brings me to the end of my segment. I'd like to thank you for taking the time, and I will pass it back to Jarvis. Jarvis, please.
Thank you, Dr. Nalaka. Now, before we move on to listen to an overview of the School of Informatics and IT, let me share my very own experience at TP, and I will also invite Jada and Crystal to share some advice on poly life. Let me start off the sharing. As I mentioned earlier, I am with the Diploma in IT. After joining the poly, I realized that time management is really important. In our school, we don't have exams, but we have a lot of assignments and projects to do. In some weeks, we have multiple pieces of work to submit, and it's really important to submit them by the deadline. It can be stressful at times, but once you learn to prioritize and work more consistently, things will get a little easier. In the poly, you will learn to be more independent and self-directed as a learner. I really appreciate that our lecturers are available when we have questions, and there are so many opportunities for consultation sessions to clarify our doubts. Working on a project means that we get to apply what we learn, and this actually helps us to get more confident about our IT skills. We also learn to work with other people, and this is really an important skill too as it prepares us for the workforce. Now, let me invite Jada, one of our senior students, to share what she's currently doing in her 3rd year.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for having me here. As Jarvis have introduced, I'm Jada, a final year student pursuing the Diploma in Big Data and Analytics. I have completed my student internship program in November at the Center for Strategic Infocom Technologies, also known as CSIT, one of the lead digital technology agencies in the Ministry of Defense. I was very excited to get to the opportunity to work on an IT industry project and gain exposure beyond my diploma and beyond data analytics. I managed to explore a different area in IT and technology, which is software engineering. I'm very thankful for all the skills that I have acquired in my diploma because it has really built a very strong foundation for me to continue expanding on my technical knowledge. The student internship program has really broadened my horizons by introducing me to how a real life working environment is like and really helped me a lot in my professional development. Currently, I am on an overseas attachment with the National Institute of Technology, Kumamoto Institute in Japan. I'm working on an artificial intelligence project with a Japanese professor, and we mainly work through video calls in 2 different time zones. It has been very interesting so far as I'm able to apply the machine learning knowledge learned in my diploma and coupled with the new artificial intelligence knowledge that I have gained to develop a real-time hit post program. Of course, working in different time zones has its own difficulties as well. The biggest challenge would probably be the language barrier, as I find it difficult to explain my issues in simpler terms sometimes. Whenever I'm on call or writing emails to my professor, I make sure to get my message through using simple English so it's not too complicated to understand. However, apart from the occasional difficulty faced in communication, I really enjoy working on this project, which has exposed me to a different area in technology.
Very cool. Thank you, Jada, for the sharing. I'm going to invite Crystal next to share 2 bits of advice she has for students planning to join the School of Informatics and IT. Before I pass you over to Crystal, I just want to say that we are very proud of Crystal as she was recently selected by the Singapore Computer Society as one of the top 100 girls in tech in Singapore. Hi Crystal, you spent an amazing 2.5 years. We have excelled in poly and also been involved in ICT competitions and have been a tech advocate in the community. What advice do you have for students who are thinking of joining the School of Informatics and IT? And how can students make most of their experience here?
Thank you, Jarvis. If I could sum up my experience of my 3 years in IIT in 2 words, that would be exceptional and indelible. I think this speaks volumes as to whether you should join. So if you're looking for your polytechnic experience to be exceptionally indelible and indelibly exceptional, I believe you can put your thinking caps down, replacing it with action. And I would say join as many events, CCAs, and SIGs that interest you as possible. Your 3 or 4 years here will only be that much more fruitful and all-encompassing if it was all-rounded. Set yourself up to 3 goals that you'd like to achieve each year and make sure that you hold yourself accountable to that. Ultimately, I think it is important to remember that for many, this might be one of your last few stops before you step into the workforce full-time. Hence, make full use of it and have fun. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you very much for the sharing, Crystal.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm going to hand you back to Dr. Nalaka, who will walk you through the remainder of the program today. I hope you have gained some good insight into student life and we look forward to welcoming you to TP. I just want to share that we have an awesome campus, lots of canteens, and a beautiful reservoir where we do dragon boat racing and many other activities. TP is where we have a great balance between work and play. Alright, over to you, Dr. Nalaka.
Thank you, Jarvis. In this segment, I will be doing an overview of the School of Informatics and IT. In this overview, we will cover the following. We'll talk about our courses and our curriculum, our lesson delivery approach, as well as academic matters, a little bit on student development, and following that, we'll have our Q&A segment with our panel. At the School of Informatics and IT, these are the courses that are offered. Basically, we have 5 courses and 1 common entry program, as I mentioned in my earlier segment. We have the Diploma in Applied AI, the Diploma in Big Data and Analytics, the Diploma in Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics, Diploma in Game Design and Development, and the Diploma in Information Technology. Those are our 5 courses, and then we also have our common ICT program, which I mentioned is for students who are really interested in IT, but they're not really sure which of the first 5 they want to get into. Then we strongly encourage students to choose the common ICT program, which for us is a year-long program where students will eventually decide on their choice of the 5 courses during the second semester or the end of the year. For our curriculum, basically our curriculum can be broken down into 3 years. In the first year, you have your TP fundamental subjects as well as your common IT foundation subjects. The TP fundamental subjects, again, are those that focus on the holistic development of the student, and which I also mentioned earlier. The common IT foundation subjects I'll talk about in the next slide. And then when you go on to year 2, you will have still some more TP fundamental subjects, as well as your diploma core subjects. So your diploma core subjects could be subjects in cybersecurity, applied AI, game design, software IT, software development, big data analytics, etc. In year 3, all students will go through a major project as well as a student internship. The common IT foundation subjects, which all students in all the courses, including our common ICT program, will take, are listed here. We have basically every year has 2 semesters, April semester and October semester. So in the April semester, the common IT foundation subjects will include things such as computational thinking, user experience, logic and maths, data analytics, and network technology. When you go on to the October semester, you will focus on modules such as coding and development, data structures, IT system security. So basically, our common IT foundation subjects are really geared to building a strong foundation in ICT. And that is true for every student who comes to the School of Informatics and IT. We want them to have a very strong base in software, in analytics, in network and security. And that's how these subjects come about. Here we have our academic architecture, our curriculum. So you notice in the blue at the bottom is our common IT foundation subjects, which I just mentioned in the previous screen. After that, you have the year 2 diploma core subjects. So if you are a student in cybersecurity, you'll take subjects such as ethical hacking. If you're in big data analytics, you'll take subjects like data storytelling. Applied AI, you take subjects like machine learning, etc. And then in year 3, you may have electives or core subjects, as well as your major project and internship. So that is how our 3 years at the Polytechnic here at the School of Informatics and IT is structured. Our curriculum really focuses on applied learning. Okay, so basically we don't have any examinations. We are largely project-based, and that is because, of course, we are mimicking the ICT industry, where when you go out to work in your internship or when you go into work in the workforce, you will see a lot of project-based work in teams, okay, with cross teams, etc., with globally, locally, etc. Okay. However, we also do have subjects that have tests, assignments, and presentations. So the project-based approach we adopt here, as I mentioned briefly earlier, was that it's because all our diploma courses are skills-based courses. So we want students to apply the skills that they learn to create IT solutions in the context of projects. So for example, in the first year, students in the first semester, all students who join the School of Informatics and IT apply their skills in software development, Java programming, and user experience to come up with a simple mobile app on the Android platform. That is important because it helps build a foundation while also building a confidence in the students' abilities. And that Android app that they learn in the first semester becomes part of their portfolio that they continue to build from the first semester all the way through the 3 years. And that portfolio becomes the starting point for their internship for joining the workforce eventually. Now I'll talk a little bit about some of the things we do in terms of student development. For student development, our students have opportunities for projects, for hackathons, for competitions, and there's a wide variety over the different diplomas. Okay, we just give a few examples. Here we have a group of students from the Game Design and Development diploma that worked on a project called Lion City for MINDEF, and which was eventually awarded the Smart Nation Award in 2019. Here we have another project, also Smart Nation Award winner in 2020. This includes students from a diploma in information technology who worked with students from other schools, especially the School of Engineering. We also do hackathons, as I mentioned earlier. Hackathons are a way for our students to start increasing their industry immersion as early as year 2. So we have here, you see students from different diplomas come together with Singtel. They're partnered with Singtel employees and they work on real problem statements during a hackathon. And that's part of the natural process of students as they go from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. The industry exposure keeps increasing as they go through. In terms of attributes of an IT professional, it's a question that we are often asked by prospective students and prospective parents. And we listed down here a few things that we think are key attributes of an IT professional. Examples are the passion for technology, a curiosity about technology, okay, about what's going on, and an interest to keep up with new things. I think that's quite important because the ICT industry is an industry that keeps evolving. A few years ago, we wouldn't have talked about AI as we talk about it today, or even big data, for example. And a few years from now, it'll be something else that's coming along in terms of technology. So we look for students who kind of have these kind of attributes that will help them be successful when they join the workforce. In terms of what course is appropriate for you, again, we'd like you to look at your strengths, okay, and see where you think you would fit better in which course. However, if you're not sure which course, again, we strongly encourage you to join the Common ICT program. The Common ICT program here at the School of Informatics and IT is a year-long program, and it gives you the time to decide which of the 5 other programs do you want to join, whether it's applied AI, big data analytics, cybersecurity and digital forensics, game design development, and information technology. Okay, you can certainly find out more information on TP website, and there are virtual talks happening. And also when the O-level results are out, please do sign up for the online counseling slots where you can meet our lecturers, talk to them, find out a little bit more about the different courses, including the Common ICT program as well. So that brings me to the end of this section, this segment of the webinar. I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to it. In a short while, we will start on the question and answer session with the panel. Thank you again.
Okay, everybody. Now we will begin with the Q&A segment. And today's Q&A with our panel. Let me introduce to you our panelists. With me, we have Dr. Eng Pin Kwan, Director of School of Informatics and IT, and Ms. Xia Bian Ping, Assistant Director of School of Informatics and IT. I will ask each of them to just say a few words first. Dr. Eng, please.
Hey, hello. Good afternoon to all the parents and the students. Thanks for spending the afternoon with us to know more about TP and the school informatics and IT. As you know, because of the COVID situation, many companies are undergoing digital transformation. So this has really accelerated need for IT professionals. So in fact, the IT industry is not even in high shortage, it's actually in severe shortage of IT professionals. And this is going to last from from now all the way to the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to be a very huge demand for IT professionals. So if you or your child is someone who is very interested in technology, I would strongly encourage you to consider, pursuing a course in the School of Informatics and IT at TP here, and use technology for the benefit of society and the world. Don't be a consumer, be the creator of with technology to build a better life for everyone here. So hope you have an enjoyable session this afternoon, and I will be involved in answering some of the questions later. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Eng. Ms. Bian Ping, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, parents and students. Welcome to our webinar for School of IT. Okay, so we look forward to hearing your questions. So yeah, let's get started.
Okay, thank you, Bian Ping. Okay, so we do have questions coming in. We encourage you to please go ahead and type in all the questions that you have. We will spend the rest of the time today doing this webinar, hopefully getting to all the questions. All right, so let me go with the first question here. How different is TP's IT programs different from other polys? I think what you will notice if you do visit the different polytechnic websites, for example, you will see that a lot of our polytechnic courses in this area of ICT have similar offerings. Okay, they also have similar modules because ICT has, common things like coding, security, analytics, AI. These are common things. I think what helps differentiate each poly probably are more things like the facilities. Okay, for example, here in our cybersecurity diploma, we have recently launched, as I mentioned earlier, our malware analysis center. That is unique. It's the first for any polytechnic here, for example. So those kind of facilities help differentiate the different things, but most of the modules you'll see will have some overlap. Okay, I hope that helps answer that question. Okay, and I think when selecting which program to go to across the poly, I think it's good to look at things like distance and other factors that might be more conducive for you or your child, for example. Okay, next one. What jobs can you do with the diploma? Maybe I'll ask Dr. Eng.
Okay, so I think the jobs For the diploma holders, generally we have entry-level jobs, for example. So you may, or usually you'll start off with something like a associate software developer or just a general software developer at the entry level. So they are all the companies that we speak to, they do have an entry-level job, whether it's software development, cybersecurity, network, even analytics. So for example, analytics, you may start as a data analyst first. So you do with the more data preparation work before you go up and so on. So there are actually a variety of jobs, but for the diploma holder, and we generally study at entry level for the companies. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Eng. Okay, next question I will take is the projects in applied AI, is it individual or group? And then there's a couple of follow-up. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, how is the lesson being conducted in applied AI or any other course? And what is our gender ratio? Maybe I'll ask Vian Ping, if you'd like to take those three.
Sorry, Nagata. Yes.
The projects in applied AI is individual or group. How are lessons being conducted in the COVID era time? And what kind of gender ratio do we have in our courses?
I see. Okay, thanks. Well, due to the COVID situation, right, we have actually classes conducted online as well as face-to-face, right? So typically the lessons are conducted in groups for projects and assignments. However, there will also be presentations which are actually individually assessed, right? So every student will have to present their findings. Yeah.
And then I think they asked like things like gender ratio, like how many boys and girls typically we would have in a course here.
Okay, so typically I think as a whole of the school we have about 30 to 40% of girls and 70% of guys. So guys still make up the majority of the cohort here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Vian. Okay, the next question is, does AI have a lot of coding? I think, okay, I'll take that question. I think coding is a baseline. As we mentioned in our first year, we expect students to learn a different variety of languages, programming languages, for example, things like Python, Java, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, because we want them to have a strong foundation. So when you go on to year two, whichever diplomas you go on to in year two, whether it's applied AI or big data analytics, game design, cybersecurity, there'll be different flavors of coding that you will build on, whether it's in C++, whether it's R program, different programming you have. So, but the important thing to remember is that we teach everybody from the fundamentals. So in that first year, we typically get a lot of students who have no experience in coding, and we go from the basics and get you to a certain level you need as you go into year two and year three. Okay, let me go on. There's more questions coming in. Let's see. What exactly is cybersecurity and digital forensics? Is it just about coding and hacking? What if I do not know coding yet? Do I suffer when I go to school of IT? Okay, I'll do that as well. I think, as I mentioned, the second half is that, yeah, you don't need to have coding, not a worry. I think when you choose a course, it's very important to see what is your interest and is that aligned to your strengths. Of course, we understand that your interest can change over time, but if you seem to be interested in the area of cybersecurity, digital forensics, as mentioned earlier, there's a high demand for cybersecurity professionals, especially a very high demand locally here, globally as well. And you see that all the time on the news, you see it mentioned as well. So, and if that's something you think you would be interested in trying out, we do encourage you to try it out. In terms of the coding, you will not suffer because again, as you mentioned, we teach it from the beginning, from the basics. Okay, going on, let's see. Is IT mainly about coding? Dr. Eng, would you like to?
Actually, there's a misconception that IT are all about coding or programming in general. That's not really true. We do need to have a programming background. We did start all our students, whether you're common first year and a specialized diploma, everybody will go through at least a foundation training in software development or programming because this is a software world. Everything rides on software. So it's important that if you belong to the ICT student, you are able to do some form of coding and so on. But it's not all and everything. Take, for example, we do have UI UX, which means user design, interaction, user experience, and so on. So how do you develop or design the software to do that? We focus a lot, especially in the second and third year, on problem solving and solutioning using technology. some can be solved through coding, but not everything may need to be coding. Some is like be very strong in using some of the tools. For example, some of the analytics tools that we use for the student is all about understanding how to use the tools, understanding about the data and how the tools used to do that data. So it's not every single module you do, you have expected to do a lot of programming. There will be a certain percentage of programming which varies from course to course. You talk about games development, they're creating games. So therefore coding is really part and parcel of their life. You talk about IT, which is predominantly mobile web application development. So they do have a higher percentage of coding, say vis-a-vis the cybersecurity diploma, for example, or the analytics diploma, where they are using more of the tools and available software applications that's available to them. So it does vary, but everybody will have, but it's not everything programming and coding. Okay, so just to prevent this misconception, it's not true. All right, yeah. Thanks. Back to you, Malaka.
Thank you, Peng. The next question is for Bian Ping. Bian Ping, the question is, how many hours of lesson do we have per week?
Thanks. Yeah, okay. So typically a student will have about 22 to 24 hours per week. That is spread over, Monday to Thursday. So typically for our students, we try not to have lessons on a Friday, right? So about 22 to 24 hours on average.
Okay, thank you, Bian Ping. The next one as well. The next question is, when do we need to get a laptop? Bian Ping?
Yeah, okay. So all our students in TP are actually required to have their own laptop. So we call it BYOD, right? So we encourage students to get their laptop once they are enrolled into the program. So that is somewhere in early March, right? So the specifications of the laptop will be actually available on the website, right? So students can actually refer to the website and get their laptop before.
Thank you. Okay, the next question we have is, what is the statistics of employment after attaining diploma for IT? Maybe I'll let Dr. Eng.
Okay, so for the employment, actually, come next week, I think there will be some announcement over the different sector employment. In general, we keep ourselves around 80 plus, 90 plus %, depending, like, the last 2 years, COVID situation is a little bit more uncertain. So we have been capping around 80 plus to 90 plus %. That means when the student, after graduation for 6 years, if you are the diploma holder, and then you are going for employment, easily 80 plus, 90 plus % will have the employment. And if you talk about university statistics, most of the students that we know, they out of 100%, easily 50-60% will apply to the local university. That is quite common these days. Yeah. So just to give you a general sense. But like I said, these two numbers, they really varies year to year, depending on the economic situations and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, next question. I'll take the next question. The next question is, what attributes do you look for in an EAE application, in an early admissions exercise application? I think EAE, which happens every June, July period, is really we're looking for students who have demonstrated interest and aptitude for the course. So I think things like portfolio, some evidence of what you've done. If it could be just research, could be articles, could be applications you created, even partial applications or online courses that you've taken in coding, for example. There are so many now available online. You can take it free. Okay, if you're any kind of design sketches, all these kind of things are what we're looking for. Anything to demonstrate to us that you are really, this is the interest you have for this particular course. So those are the kind of things that we look for, depending on the course that you like. Okay, next question is it better to do a specialized course or a general course like IT? Maybe Dr. Eng?
Okay, I think it's really the fact that we came up with the common ICT is because a lot of students, they do feedback that they go into a specialized course and they realize that actually, after 1 semester or 2 semesters, they realize they are not so interested in it. They have certain perception, they go in and then after 1 year, they are not so, keen about it and so on and so forth. That's where the common ICT program was launched. It's more so that for students who are not too sure, they might want to consider taking up the common ICT. But if you are very, very clear, take for example, you say, oh, in future, I want to pursue a career in games development, in software development. I want to be a cybersecurity expert. Then I will say, yeah, since you're quite clear what you are looking for, then you just go ahead with a specialized course. But if you're not too sure, that 1 year actually gives you a little bit more time to expose to the different parts of the courses, because you will do a bit of security, you'll do a bit of the coding part, you'll do a bit of the analytics part. That gives you a very broad idea of, if you go to second and third year for these particular courses, you'll be more of this, for example. Then from there, I think you can have a better sense. So I would say if you are very clear about what you want, the specialized course, you can go straight in. But if you're not so clear, then we will take, the common entry program first. And I mean, that's the reason why for our common ICT program, we take in a bigger intake number as compared to the other diploma course, because we realize that more and more of the students who prefer to be in the first year as a common program first to get a sense before they move to specialized diploma. Yeah. Okay,
thank you.
Back to Nalka.
Yeah, thank you. The next question I'll address to Bian Ping. Bian Ping, there's a question on what are the chances of going to a local university with this course? And together with that, there's another question related. Is it hard to get a place in a university after Polytechnic?
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so typically for our students, our graduates, there are about 60% of them getting into a university, taking a university degree, be it local or even overseas universities. So it also depends on the university itself. For example, SMU, they don't just look at the aggregate, they also conduct interviews, right? So depending on the universities that you apply for, so we will try to prepare our students for the enrollment as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next question I'll take. The next question is more on the cutoff points. I think there was a question on what is the cutoff points for informatics and IT. I think the last aggregate score range is available for last year, is available on the website, and it varies for each of the 5 courses plus our common entry program. I would encourage you to just take a quick look at that, and you'll be able to see the range of points, last aggregate scores for the students that entered last year. And typically this year it can fluctuate maybe plus or minus one or 2 points around there, and that gives you a kind of gauge as well. And also there was a question on intake. I think the website also shows you what is our current intake, planned intake for the different courses, as mentioned, and that will also show you, so you'll see both the last aggregate score as well as the planned intake. So for example, common ICT and cybersecurity takes a larger number, for example, and then the rest of the courses will be a slightly lesser as they're more specialized courses. Okay. Next question I'll take is, I'm interested in the game design and development course. Will there be a lot of art during the course? So I think the game design and development course here at TP is different from the other polys. We're not an art course, we're really a more development course. We train for 2 job roles. Basically, we train for game developers or software developers as well as designers, game designers. So you don't have to be an expert in drawing or have any skills in art. Normally, we do some Maya modeling, and then you can use assets, because we use Unity game engine basically to do all the work in that course. Okay, let's see. There's still quite a lot of questions coming in. I think the planned intake has been already answered. Let me just skip that. There was a question, if I choose the common ICT program, will I complete the course in 3 years or 4? Bian Ping?
Yeah, okay, so for students who choose common ICT program, you still complete your diploma courses within 3 years. So what happens is that you enroll in the first year common program with the rest of the diploma students. So at the end of the 1 year program, common ICT program, you choose your diploma from year 2 to year 3. So typically, in total, it's still 3 years.
Okay, thank you. The next question, I'll give it to Dr. Eng. The question, what is the difference between our course in big data and analytics and our AI course?
Okay, so for these two, now, I would say that AI course is closer towards the IT. There's a little bit more on the software development side, whereas the analytics course is more focused on the statistics and more the mathematics one. So they have a differentiation, because the AI course is about automation. How do you apply some of the AI technology and create automated solutions, more intelligent solutions for the industry or the businesses and so on. Whereas the analytics one is more focused was statistics, I would say the mathematical part of it, understanding the data, and also even processing the data and so on. And from there, they help the business to make the decision. That's where the analytics is a lot of focus on understanding data. So if you're very curious about data, you enjoy playing with the data, manipulate, try to figure out things from the data, then you are an analytics guy. You see, but you are more into the software side of the house to say, oh no, I want to create an engine that can do translation of languages. I want to be able to use AI that can, automate a lot of things, program, get a robot to do many things, for example. Then you are more towards the AI side, because the AI side is focused a lot more on the intelligent automation part. Vis-a-vis the analytics part is more of utilizing data, getting insights from data to help decisions. So they are slightly different on that aspect. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, going on to the next question. Somebody mentioned first choice is an important question. I think it's very important to, again, come back to the dual track approach we mentioned. If you are interested in something in IT and you are not sure which area at this point for your child or for yourself, we strongly encourage you to put Common ICT as your first choice, because it gives you time to decide later. Now, if you're very sure of cybersecurity or applied AI or big data analytics or game design or even IT, then we strongly encourage you to put that as your first choice. I think the first choice is still important, okay, because it really increases your chances of getting into the course. As you know, that different courses have different planned intake sizes, as mentioned on the website. Some take a larger number, some take a lesser number. And these planned intakes also include students that are coming from early admissions, JPAs, or different admissions exercises as well. So it's always good to go with the first choice, and as that's the one that you're really interested in applying for. Okay, next question. IT is changing so fast, and my boy has to do NS after completing the course. So will the skills he learns still be relevant after NS? Dr. Eng?
Okay, so I would say that the foundation doesn't change when it comes to the IT. Yes, there will be technology change. Last time AI is not so popular, then there's blockchain and so on and so forth. Things will come up in the horizon, and it is true that of course after 1-2 years, there may be a bit of a gap there, but the fundamentals has not changed. That's why when we are training our students in the 3 years of education here, it's very important that we continue to make sure that they are being exposed to various things, so they continue to pick up new things. The key about technology career is the ability to pick up new technology and new skills, and this is one of the key attributes we want to impart into our students. So as they deal with technology, although we teach them A, B, C, D, we also encourage them when they do their final year projects, in their internship, to continue to explore new areas so that they keep themselves very adaptable and nimble. And that it will be the key attribute, to be able to progress very well in the ICT world. But having said that, we also know that there will be a bit of a gap because of the 2 years and so on. So we have been working quite hard on the CET side, that means the continuing education side, so that when students come up from the NS, right, and they want to continue, there will be refresher courses. We will also keep them up to date about what's happening to the trend. And we also have part of companies where we help them to do apprenticeship program, where companies will also come in to help support the training of the student as they integrate back from their NS into the working into the workforce and so on. So there are multiple measures that we put in place to help our students to integrate back to the industry after NS. So you don't have to be too worried on that account. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, the next question for Bian Ping. The question is, would it be difficult to make friends?
Well, okay. I think actually we have a class of 25 students, so it's not difficult to make friends. And also there are other opportunities like CPAs that students can join. That is where students also make new friends, right? Okay, so I also see a question on whether CPA is compulsory. So maybe I'll just take that question together. It is not compulsory for poly students to take CPAs, but we strongly encourage you to do so that you can have a more holistic experience throughout the poly life here.
Okay, thank you. I think there were also a couple of questions on the laptop. Let me just read it out. How do I know what laptop to get, and is there a special price? The second question is, can I buy the laptop from school, or are there discounts available?
Yeah, okay. So as mentioned regarding the laptop, the specification will be published later, somewhere in March. so that when you enroll into a course, you know what are the specs of the laptop to buy. Right? There will be financial schemes to help students who need it, right? So that will be explained to the students when you join us. And also there will be a list of vendors who we work with so that you can have a better price as a student. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll take the next few questions. For the students who had taken up computing as an O-level subject, we had to learn the Python programming language. So for Poly, would we have to learn a new language such as Java, or would we be able to continue with Python? Okay, I think the first thing to understand is that as you take Python as a subject at O levels, it is one programming language. In the ICT industry, there are a variety of programming languages. Over time, you'll see that. But every programming language has the similar constructs or similar things that are necessary. Okay, so when you have the knowledge of Python, that will be helpful for you, because when you come to the first year, you will be learning first semester, you'll be learning Java in the Android platform when you develop a mobile app. But then you will also when you go on to the second semester, you will revisit Python. So at that time, when you're doing a Java, when you're doing a Python and the other programming languages, depending on which course you are, it will be an additional benefit for you, because you would have been already exposed to Python programming language at the O level stage. Okay, going on, if I apply for EAE and was accepted, when and how would I be informed if I was accepted? So basically, EAE, what will happen is once you do the application, the middle of this year, June, July, then there will be a time where you will be asked to do, for example, aptitude tests, group interviews, depending on which courses and which polytechnics you applied for. And subsequently, after that, you would be informed of whether an offer is made, probably, I think, in September onwards, etc. So there's a time period for that from June all the way to the second half of this year. Okay, let me continue. There's a question here about, are there any disadvantages of joining the Common ICT program? Okay, maybe I'll take that. So I think the Common ICT program is really to give you time. The critical thing about the Common ICT program is that how are you posted to one of the 5 courses? Okay, we didn't mention that earlier, but that happens based on a couple of factors. One of the key factors is your grade point average from your first semester. So at the School of Informatics and IT, your first semester results is critical. Then, of course, other factors come in, such as your choice. Which of the 5 choices are you going to rank from 1 through 5? And of course, availability. So these 3 criteria help decide which course you're going to go into out of the 5. Of course, every student gets into one of the 5 choices. So there's nothing to worry about in that sense, okay? It's just that it gives you more time, that 1 semester and a half gives you more time to really understand what kind of job roles am I going to be doing? What is the kind of companies I'm going to work at? Is this what I want to do? And then, so therefore, when you make that choice at the end of the second semester for a Common ICT program, hopefully it will be a better informed choice. And it'll be something that you really want to try out and go on for the remainder of your polytechnic studies here. All right, let me keep going. There are more questions coming in. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's a wide variety of things here. Okay, so with Bianping, how do I participate in the competitions?
Okay, sure. Yeah, our students are given a lot of opportunities to participate in competitions, hackathons, as mentioned from Dr. Nalaka earlier on. So what happens is that we work with industries. So whenever there is any hackathons or competitions, we will actually broadcast to all the students through email, right? So all the students will receive equal chance of information to participate in any hackathons or competition.
Okay, thank you. Let me just go on. Okay, something we've already answered. Okay, there's a question here on what companies do students go for internship and how long is it? And can I choose my own internship? Maybe I'll ask Dr. Eng to say a few words.
Okay, can. So the companies, well, predominantly, I would say 80% of the companies are basically the ICT companies. They could be from IBM, they could be from companies like Essential, NCS, where they predominantly are the companies that do the ICT project for government or other places. So these are the companies that our students are typically placed in. So in terms of company. Now, for the duration, minimally for internship, right, you need to do at least 5 months of internship in our school, and but the typical internship period is usually 6 months. That means it's a half a year, minimally half a year exposure, because the companies felt that, our discussion with companies felt that, just 2-3 months, you probably can't learn much from the company. So usually we make sure that our students can go at least from 5, preferably at least 6 months, if not longer internship, so that the industry exposure is maximized and they can really pick up very key industry soft skills and technical skills as well. So that will be the duration for our internship. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'll take the next 2 questions that are related to mathematics. First question, do you need a strong background in mathematics to do well in cybersecurity? Related to that is, in the School of IT, the subjects such as math, what is it exactly? Is it similar to A-maths or more difficult and complicated? Okay, so if you notice in the slides I earlier showed, we had in the first April semester a subject on logic and mathematics. That's really not A-maths. It is more applied mathematics related to the ICT industry. You learn things like probability, statistics, set theory, all this. So it is really quite different from A-maths, so you don't have to worry about that. So I think it's really just applied maths in the context of the IT industry. Okay, just to hopefully that helped answer that question. Okay, there was a question here on, let me see, are there any skills that would be beneficial to have before applying for the School of Informatics and IT? Okay, would you?
Okay, any skills required? Really, we really, I would say the majority of the students come in with no background in IT, and really a lot of them has been very successful in the ICT industry. So if you have not any IT skills, of course, it's fine, because we really, like what Nalaka said, we'll train you from scratch. Of course, what I really hope that our students, when they come in, is to have an interest in technology. You should not be fearful of technology. You should not be forced to join a technical course, because then you will kill your interest. You should be something that you enjoy technology. You look at the technology and you are very curious. How come this such a technology work? How come this technology is so interesting? And when you have that type of interest, then the technical skills required to that, we will impart to you. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you don't have any background, don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Not to worry, we teach from the basics. Okay, I'll take the next 2 ones. One is on how much coding hours does a student need per week? I think as it's a bit related to what Dr. Ng just mentioned, we are teaching everybody from the basics. Coding is something new if you haven't been exposed to it before. So as you need to be ready to, it'll take some time. Okay, just like if you're learning a new language in a different country, it takes time to practice. So coding is something we have to continuously practice over time. And as you go from semester 1 to semester 2 to year 1 to year 2, you will find yourself gaining confidence in it, building your confidence in it. One of the things we do in the first year to help build that confidence in coding, especially, is we try to make sure that a lot of our subjects deliver outcomes that help build your portfolio. For example, I mentioned the mobile app. So when we teach coding for you to develop a mobile app, we're really teaching like just-in-time coding. That means we teach you enough so you can create a mobile app in Android very fast, a simple app, but it gives you the basic skills that you need that help you make that app achievable. Likewise, when you go to semester 2, you learn how to develop a web application. Again, it's not a complicated web application, but you learn all the skills you need for the front end, the back end of the web application. And at the end of the first year, every student, for example, will have a mobile app in Java as part of their portfolio. Every student will have a web application, a front end and back end, as part of their portfolio. And that really helps, we have found that it really helps build the students' confidence. And as they go on, they will learn other things in year 2 and year 3, specific to their domain, whether it's in applied AI, whether it's in game design or IT or cybersecurity. They'll learn additional coding that they need for those domains. Okay, next question is, could we study for a degree at once after a diploma course? Certainly, that is, as mentioned, Bian Ping mentioned, there's a certain percentage that always go for university. Of course, all the boys, the joiners will go NS first. Okay, but for the girls, the option is there, so they can study at any of the local AUs. So we do encourage strongly for local AUs such as NUS, NTU, SMU. We have students there, SUSS, SIT. Okay, all these areas for them to really go in and look at the courses that you like and find something that interests you and then apply for it. So the answer is yes. Okay. There is a question on, will there be a competition for courses when you enter the common ICT program? Okay, let me, maybe Bian Ping, would you like to talk about that a bit?
Competition within the ICT program?
I think when they want to go from the common ICT to the courses, will there be a competition when they're posted out?
Competition.
Yeah.
I don't think there is any competition. But then definitely the students will be exposed to a lot of counseling, right? Exposure to the different diploma courses. So our course teams will always be there to advise you, to help you discover what is best for you.
I think that maybe to add on to that is that as Nalaka has mentioned, we go by merit first. That means how well you perform in the first year and so on. I would say that based on our past statistics, we do have a high percentage, 80 to, I think Nalaka, right, 80 to 90% of the student getting in their first choice. They will be constrained because, I cannot give a cohort so big because I'm limited by my space and my facilities and my software licensing and so on. So there will be a certain cap at a certain point for each of the specialized diploma. But I will say that based on historical record, at least about 80 to 90% will always get their first choice. And almost 90 to 95% will be within the first three choices. There will be some rare case where have to be on the fourth or fifth choice, but they are really very, very few, a handful only that for some reason they can't get their choice. They'll end up with the fourth or fifth. But majority, I would say 95% easily within the first three. And first choice is even higher, but 85 to 90% will get their first choice. So I will say that most people will get their choice. I would say, yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. There's another question here on the analytics course. They say for those who join analytics, what are the job prospects? Maybe Dr.
Yeah, so for analytics, as I mentioned, for the analytics course specifically, usually they start with the data analyst. So usually they'll be tasked to look at data, to prep the data so that they can do further processing, or sometimes they do visualization as well. They are very strong. Our team of analytics students, very strong in dashboarding. If you come to our open house, you see a lot of these dashboarding projects, a lot of visualization projects. These are the levels where the entry level jobs they are particularly focused on, and they are able to do data storytelling. They're able to take the data, present it in a way and tell the story to help management understand what the data is telling. So these are the part where our students typically start their first job in, where they are very strong in. Yeah.
Okay, there's another question on careers, Dr. Can I still take up careers in other sectors of IT, regardless of the IT degree that I'm holding?
Yeah, we do have students, of course, we call them, they move to other domains. It's not impossible. It's a general diploma. But if you're talking about, for example, I want to apply IT to healthcare, IT to finance, IT to the non-ICT domain, then definitely with IT skills is there. But if you want to switch to something, to business, when you graduate, you want to do something related to business, become a real estate agent, of course, you'll find that it's not so relevant for what you're training. Basically, I would say it's a bit of wasteful that you have trained so hard in the technical courses and you didn't pursue the ICT career. But we do have students who, after 3 years, really feel that this is not their cup of tea and have moved on to other career. And I think we respect that and we see what we can do to assist. But normally what I can see is that even if they are IT skill, right, even decided that they want to pursue a management or a less IT path, the technical skills still come in important because you understand technology. So when the company is trying to do something, if you are doing sales, for example, you know how to use your IT skill to improve your sales by, advancing the marketing, changing the search engine way and so on. So no matter whether you do an IT career or even you decided to pursue something that's not so ICT, your technical background actually gives you an edge compared to people with no ICT background at all. I would say that, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll take the next few questions. There's 2 questions on the programming languages. What are the programming languages we learn in this course? And what programming languages will students be learning? So basically, as I mentioned earlier, very quickly, everybody in the first year will cover a common set of programming languages: Java, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Then once you go on to your respective diploma courses, you will have different programming languages. If you go on to game design, for example, you will do C# under Unity. If you go on to cybersecurity, you'll have C++, for example. Okay, and then different courses will have the additional programming languages, or you'll go into things like advanced Java, for example, or advanced .NET, etc. So it really depends on the course, but what we hope that all students learn is that they get a good fundamental understanding of programming languages, because when you go onto the workplace, you will probably find that there'll be even newer programming languages you have to learn. But we hope that the foundation you have will help you take those skills and transfer it to your job, to your work, to whatever you do, whether it's studies or work, and pick up new languages as you proceed. Okay, let me continue. Okay. 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 Let's see. And there's a question here on the PFP. Yeah, Bianping, maybe you can see if you can help me a little bit. For PFP, is there a specific range for PFP or just EMB3s less than 12?
Okay, maybe I can take that. Okay, there's another question on PFP as well, so I'll just
Yes.
take it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so besides meeting the English, math, S3 subjects equal to 12 or under 12, we still also need to meet the individual subject requirement, which is minimum grade 3. So English, you have to be A1 to B3, as well as math and the other 3 subjects. Okay, so the other questions is on vacancies for PFP students. So we are actually planning to take 2 classes, about 50 vacancies for all the IIT.
Okay, thank you. Let me just take a look and see. I think some of the questions, the remaining ones, we've answered quite a lot already. But let me just take a quick look and see if I missed anything. We talked about EA, we talked about the common ICT, we talked about the game design. Let me just see if there's anything else that may be. Okay, there was a few questions about switching courses during academic year, whether it's after common ICT to another common program or whether it's to any other course. I think it's very important to, when you offer the position, offer the place at the Polytechnic, whether it's a common program, whether it's a direct entry program to one of our courses, to make sure that it's really the choice that you want to do. Switching is it's a complicated thing because certainly there's possibility to transfer. You can consider looking at transfer. However, it really depends on a multitude of factors, such as is there space available? Is your aggregate score correct for that course? So these are things that you need to be mindful of. And there is once in a while, we do have students who switch courses out or switch courses in, but again, it all depends on those multitude of factors and also what is your O-level results. I think that's something to just take note of for that. Okay. I think the laptops we already talked about as well. I think, so the diploma in IT, I think just to take note, remember the diploma in IT course is very a general course. It's really on software development. Okay, and I think that's where you learn a lot of things such as mobile app, web app, DevOps, even some AI. You learn general IT software development skills. Okay, it's different from engineering, okay, but general software development skill, and that'll help you because it cuts across many domains. Okay, there's a question here on I'm a working adult. Can I join a cybersecurity course? Certainly possible. Working adults are open for all our courses, I think. So that's not an issue at all.
Yeah,
okay.
But we are full-time courses, so
yes,
you have to quit your job because it's a full-time course. We do have night courses for upgrading and so on. So if you think you can't quit your job to do a full-time diploma, do consider the nighttime courses. That's for working adult who's work in the day and they study at night. Yeah.
Okay, I think intake-wise, we talked about as well. I think for the DA, there's a question from a DAE. DAE, basically for direct admission for foreign students, I think you will get to know your results in the next month or two. Currently, they're doing the interviews right now, and then the outcome will be informed. TP will inform you on that as well. I think basically that pretty much covers what we wanted to cover today. We wanted to, again, I want to thank everybody for all the questions that they submitted. I think most of the other ones that we already covered. Again, if you do have further queries, please do contact us. There is open house still continuing today. There's also the virtual talks you can go online and take a look at from the TP website. And also coming up when the O-level results are out, there will be counseling slots available. Okay, please do book those counseling slots so you can meet our lecturers and then you can get more details and you can ask more specific in-depth things for your child or for yourself. Okay, if not, I think that is all for today. We want to thank everybody. Have a good weekend ahead. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.